Okay, I don't know if all of you know who or what Canyons and Plains is, but I'm going to introduce or reintroduce for those of you who do know. It was formed as the Southeast Regional Task Force of Southeast Colorado through a Colorado tourism initiative in 2003. So we're over 10 years old now. Canyons and Plains is a nonprofit organization dedicated to preserving the heritage of southeastern Colorado. Its board of directors are represented by all sectors of the community, and it's actually open to new board members. In the past 10 years, it has brought in $1 million in grants for heritage projects throughout the southeastern part of the state. Our mission and vision is to educate the public on the unique cultural and historical assets of southeastern Colorado, to provide a model for collaboration by fostering partnerships and regional cooperation, and to support the understanding and appreciation of the unique cultural...
It's a little loud.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little loud too.
Is that better? Let's try it. Okay.
Support the understanding, preservation, and appreciation of the unique cultural, historical, and natural environment of the region. Some of our accomplishments, and there are only some, again, we brought in about $1 million in the last 10 years to support and leverage other projects in the region. 6 counties, the 6 counties that we serve are Baca, Bent, Prowers, not Los Animas, Otero, Crowley, Kiowa. I think I named them all. The 6 counties were designated Preserve America counties in 2007. We've been involved in the wayfinding signs, branding and marketing, strategic planning for heritage tourism, and the statewide award-winning Youth Summit. We support local heritage businesses and organizations through technical support and leveraging funds. And we assisted with the award-winning organizations Eid Sample Town Program and the Springfield WPA Tour. Both received a very prestigious Carolyn Bancroft Award from the Colorado Historical Society. With the Colorado Tourism Office, we recently sponsored an agritourism roadshow in Rocky Ford. Again, many more accomplishments, those are some. Why should we care about economic sustainability in our region? I had a PowerPoint which didn't work, but that's okay. Our poverty rate in 2009 was, I'll list the counties, Prowers 22%, Otero 23%, Kiowa 15%, Crowley 52%, Bent 37%, Baca 19%. All counties exceed the poverty rates of the state. The state is about 12%, and our country, which is 14%. So we're below the state averages and the national averages. I'm taking this information from the Southern Colorado Economic Development District Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy. One of the goals is to improve recreation opportunities for residents and to encourage the development of resources to encourage tourism. Again, this is right out of the report. One of the strategies is to increase tourism spending. There are several homegrown strategies included. Expand and continue efforts with heritage and agritourism with the Creative Industries Initiative. Continue to develop and grow events and community festivals. Increase visibility with the governor to gain his support in making Boggsville part of a National Historic Park Service, and to designate Southeast Colorado as a National Heritage Area through the National Park Service. Work with CDOT and Colorado Tourism Organization to increase signage to improve ways of finding and interpreting the region. Historic preservation is good business. It's good for our economy. It creates jobs. 32 new jobs are created for every $1 million spent on preservation of historic buildings. Since 1981, historic preservation projects have created almost 36,000 jobs and nearly $2.5 billion in direct and indirect economic impact. As of 2010, acquisition and development projects supported by the State Historic Fund have leveraged approximately $4 million in additional funds for every $1 million spent. In 1 year alone, 2008, heritage tourism in Colorado generated $244 million in visitor spending. This is information taken from the Colorado Historical Society website. Who is the heritage tourist? Well, most of us in here are probably heritage tourists, but they spend an average of $447 in total expenditures compared to overnight leisure visitors who spend an average of $333, a difference of $114. They stay longer. They stay an average of 5.8 nights as opposed to 5.2. I know that's not much of a difference, but in the aggregate, it's a lot of difference. In Colorado, 11.8 million trips involved heritage tourism activities. The heritage tourists spend $190 million on cultural activities and $54 million on historic activities. On average, Colorado tourists stay longer than other visitors and spend $114 more per person. Great majority of tourists are from out of state. This comes from the economic power of heritage in place, a report by the Colorado Historical Society. So what do heritage dollars do for the local community? They create jobs. They support lodging and restaurants, specialty shops like antique shops, gifts, souvenirs, clothing, grocery stores, food markets, gas stations. At Bent's Fort, tourism created over $1.3 million in economic benefit. This report shows that visitor spending supports 19 jobs in the local economy. I have a website here, I'm not going to read it, but it was in the Lahaina Tribune a couple of weeks ago. Recently, Canyons and Plains, because it's always worked in partnerships, and because we think that partnerships are the way we've been able to be successful, and that's the absolute truth. We went into a partnership with 3 other organizations and applied for funding from the Gates Family Foundation. We received that grant, and it funded 3 other partners for the purpose of economic sustainability of southeastern Colorado. The organizations receiving funding are Canyons and Plains, Palmer Land Trust, Guidestone, and the Rocky Mountain Bird Observatory. Each has its own jurisdiction and mission. Collaboration is around each organization contributing to the economic viability of southeastern Colorado. We don't cross over in our activities, or we haven't yet. We complement and we keep our own mission and our own set of activities. The implementation partners, we do have 2 of them, and they receive no funding, and they are the National Park Service and the Nature Conservancy. They provide advice and technical support. Palmer Land Trust is a land and water conservation organization. The organization serves 10 counties, only 2 in our region: Crowley, Custer, El Paso, Fremont, Huérfano, Las Animas, Otero Park, Pueblo, and Teller, and undertakes a range of conservation projects that reflect diverse values in the communities it serves. Guidestone is a progressive grassroots organization dedicated to sustaining rural communities through programs such as LandLink. LandLink links retiring farmers with ranchers and farmers that are emerging, that want to get into the business of ranching and farming. They're headquartered in Salida and at this time have very little activity in the southeast region. The Rocky Mountain Bird Observatory is a Colorado-based nonprofit dedicated to addressing the need for bird conservation and related public education programs. And Canyons and Plains, which I've told you about, was known as Seacourt, is a nonprofit organization promoting heritage tourism in a 6-county area in southeastern Colorado as a strategy for economic development. Now, what was our part of the partnership? We were to conduct a National Heritage Area feasibility study and an economic impact study. The core projects for Canyons and Plains then are economic impact study of heritage tourism in the southeast region. What are the impacts on our economy from heritage tourism? And a feasibility study for a national heritage area to determine the feasibility of an NHA through community and stakeholder meetings, as well as providing a history and asset inventories for southeast Colorado. For instance, we have about 70 sites and buildings on this National and State Historic Register in our region. Again, let me emphasize the word feasibility. And before we even get into that, I want to also talk to you about what exactly is a National Heritage Area. It's a place designated by Congress where the natural, cultural, historic, and scenic resources from a cohesive landscape that tell a nationally important story about the American experience. The U.S. has 49 National Heritage Areas. Colorado has 3. They are the Sangre de Cristo National Heritage Area in the San Luis Valley, Park County Heritage Area in Park County, and the Cache La Poudre Heritage Area in Fort Collins. What does designation mean? Designation of a NHA means naming a defined geographic region which has national significance and has proven itself to contribute to the national story of our country. Designation is honorary, but does make the area eligible for funds from the National Park Service on a dollar-for-dollar match. Designation does not mean jurisdiction. The NHA has no jurisdiction over any lands or water resources within the geographically designated area. It is not a government entity. Its board is not elected by the general public and therefore has no authority over any local, state, or federal laws, including recreation and municipal districts, and commissions serving under local and state governments. For instance, the entire state of Tennessee is a designated National Heritage Area. It has no jurisdiction over the state or any of its agencies. Now, its central theme, by the way, in Tennessee is Civil War. And so their work is around the history of the Civil War, the various battles, and that sort of thing. So what's the difference between a National Heritage Area and a national park? NHAs, National Heritage Areas, are community-based. They work with local partner organizations to tell its story. It is not a unit of the National Park Service. The National Park Service does not manage the NHA or the land within it. National Park Service is advisory in nature. The authorizing legislation for each of Colorado's NHAs explicitly prohibits the use of federal funds to acquire property, water rights, or any interest in private property rights. Now, what do? They all do different things. I just told you about the state of Tennessee involved with Civil War history. whatever would we do here? Look back at 10 years of Canyons and Plains and the partnerships we've developed, and that's a good guess that that's exactly what would continue to happen here. Each area has its own objectives and goals. In general, National Heritage areas develop trails, erect wayfinding signs, offer tours, and provide maps and brochures to guide visitors in their area. Promote heritage tourism, farmers markets, historic bed and breakfasts, restaurants, and serve traditional foods. That's served. We don't serve the food. The restaurants do. Support education through the development of interpretive programs and activities. And they work to preserve historic places through providing assistance in writing National Historic Register grants, nominations, which can lead to rehabilitation of historic buildings and sites, making them eligible for funding. And remember what I said, when you do that, you generate local jobs and hopefully help some local contractors. Let's get back to the feasibility study. Again, we're at the early stages of even determining whether or not there would ever be a heritage area here, but so the way you do that is through a study. We do a lot of studies, don't we? A way to determine the viability and sustainability and suitability of establishing an NHA in a specific site. The study explores a number of factors that determine whether designation is the best way to achieve the region's conservation, preservation, and economic development goals. Engaging residents is crucial to the feasibility study process. It will assess the support of the community and its residents. It will determine which entity could best manage the National Heritage Area if it were to be designated. There's no guarantee that it would be Canyons and Plains. It will help determine the geographic boundaries of the National Heritage Area. Canyons and Plains is proud to be your partner. It has 10 years of proven effectiveness and success. It embraces partnerships and has only been successful because of partnerships. Our business is heritage tourism and will continue to be in the foreseeable future. Canyons and Plains recognizes and celebrates rural life of southeastern Colorado. It respects the highest values placed on its natural resources, land and water, its wildlife, and its rural population. We will listen to and engage the public in all of our affairs. Our role in the partnership of the Canyons and Plains Partnership for Economic Sustainability in Southeastern Colorado, that's a long partnership, will always be one of responsibility and stewardship. What can you do? What are some of your ideas for sustainability of heritage tourism and our heritage assets? You can engage in meetings to be kept informed and provide your ideas and input. Write to us. Let us know what we're doing and how we're doing and what we can do to improve. Follow us on Facebook and our website. Our website's a little shaky right now, but it's going to get there. Support us through your donations. We are moving away from being a membership organization, and we will be depending on individuals, businesses, and foundations to keep our projects going. We are a nonprofit, and your donations can be deducted for tax purposes. That was a commercial, by the way. Support our local museums, historic sites, recreational facilities, and local businesses. Volunteer your time and talents. And I just want to thank you for your time, and hopefully I said something valuable to you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's give Rick a round of applause.